Okay, Alan, you conduct today's session. Yeah, you ask Natasha questions.
What about you? IGPN?
No, you ask Natasha first.
Oh. I see today I did what? I have also teach puzzle with my mother.
What do you do with your mother?
I teach puzzle with my mother.
I'm not at home. I'm with my grandma. Actually, I'm in my grandma's house now.
Oh, your grandma's house now.
Yeah.
We read newspaper. Okay, I'm eating granola, which is kind of busy sounding when I'm talking. You can hear the crunch. Oh, I had a very full day today. In the morning, I was helping Keith with his HBL,
What?
which is home-based learning.
Oh.
And then what else did I do? I then had a meeting about COVID. This stuff. Oh, Washima is going in.
Oh.
Hi guys.
Welcome to
See you, Alan.
welcome to day 2 of Emergencing BB LightHouses. This meeting is being recorded.
Wonderful. I love the elephant behind you.
Yeah, I'm in my bedroom station.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, I
Wonderful.
decided this is the best place, you know. I turned on my aircon and then I don't get the whole thing that's happening outside there. I can't work in the same home office anymore. My home office is gone. I can't ugh. You know, it's too much. You know, Alan was asking me what I was doing this morning. So HDL for Keith in the morning. This meeting, you know, BCP in Malaysia, transformation.
I missed yesterday's meeting because there is a alert of a cyclone. So we were just preparing ourselves for everything.
How's everything with you?
Every day is a new day and a new challenge, and I love it.
Yes, I forgot that you are the girl who will just run into the cyclone, okay?
So this morning I said, okay, everything is done. Now, even if it is red alert, we are okay. So we spent the morning organizing because we were doing up the terrace, remember? So everything was like hanging and we didn't want things to fly out, the roof and everything. So it was just hunkering down there to make sure we're okay.
It's like when it rains, it pours kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just a lot for humans to...
So my brother lost his sister. We lost another 3 friends last week. So it was So it's been difficult, but everyone now is looking at positive news. No more of this negative press because it gets people down and worried when you can only do is deal with your day. Deal with your day. Okay. So yesterday was like I missed like a whole lot of chunk of thinking.
Oh, yeah. It's got wonderful. Ryan is coming in now.
Right.
We had SG Enable with us.
Oh my God.
Yes, they were listening to our entire plan. Ron was amazing. Amazing. He's the innovation side of SG Enable as well. So this weekend, you know, so we've sent all the stuff, I've fed back to the CEO. I think it's a very exciting time on it. It's no longer the narrative of the past. That's what I'm saying. And it's just ready, and most likely we will get a space with them.
Wonderful. Oh my God.
And Alan and Tasha was so good at saying, you know, we changed the whole BB Lighthouse thing into let the youth stewards lead us.
Let
the youth lead us.
Okay.
How to be an adult, you know. What was the third piece? Adapting it together.
Okay, adapting together. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Those are the toolkits for the present condition.
Yeah, and Alan was saying that he wants to help other youth, like typing, like writing, you know. So I think more of that rather than even our own programs of the past. As I think what was useful was we had done all the prototyping, so it's documented and we've arrived at a very authentic framework. I don't know if you had a chance to see what I've mapped out and all that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we did it.
Did it. You pulled it all together.
We did it. Grace. Grace is from Drew and Napier.
Wow.
Okay, let's see. Yeah.
Wonderful.
We got our lawyer. Ryan is still not on his video. Let's see what's happening.
Hi, I'm here. Hi, Shima. Hi, Pinyan.
Hi there,
Shima.
Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Big hello.
Can you turn on your handsome face, please?
No, actually.
You're
No,
so
thanks.
shy. Grace, hello. Are you hearing us?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Hi, Pinyan. Hi.
Hi, Grace. We can't see your gorgeousness. we have started the session and we have started recording.
Sure.
We are day 2 of Emergencing Bilberries Blue LightHouses. So this is Bilberries Blue. We kind of seem like we're chatting, but we're doing work. So on the top left, we don't know who's going to come, so we're going to wait a little bit, but probably not that many people because people just pop up when and they will tell me. But I think yesterday there was only one other person, but we had very deep work. That was with SG Enable. So today we can see what we would like to talk about, given there's Washima and Ryan and Grace. Okay, so Natasha, Ellen, sustainability apprentices, and I am a sustainability steward. Washima is a sustainability steward. Ryan is a sustainability steward. Grace is our friend that we hope will be something of Bilberries Blue.
Big welcome, Grace.
Yeah.
So, thanks very much. Please go ahead. I'm really joining this cold, so yeah, please go ahead, and I'll try to get up to speed as soon as possible.
Okay. So I think we go with whoever is here, and then we can be able to access the expertise of everyone here to basically see what Bilberries Blue LightHouses is. Maybe I will very quickly go into the roadmap. Okay. So just bear with me a second. Okay, this was yesterday from day 1. So we're tracking our notes of our meeting like this. So we had basically the open catalog, which is the 5 years of Bilberries Blue. Then we have a learning series of Tube, which is the framework, and it's ready basically to go into any kind of learning platform, any polytechnics, any universities, anything, because it's already framed. We finish our character through community strategy map, and our goal is very clearly character building communities of characters for sustainable development. So that's how we frame our framing. We have then now entering into building a couple of lighthouses and a summer school. So we frame the developmental guidelines for basically collaborating partners, primarily space partners. And we've also worked our 5-year plan. Okay. And yesterday was the SG Enable sharing piece. So SG Enable had shared that they are very keen to explore the partnership possibility with Bilberries Blue, the whole group. And they work from 3 tracks. So accessibility, engaging, and especially the assistive technology, and then engaging businesses for building inclusive products, which was what we were looking at Temasek Polytechnic. So they have the makerspace that we could possibly use or collaborate with for the usage to make products specifically for full inclusion. SG Enable also has the innovation, and they like what they're seeing about us because they see that our strength is in able to connecting all the different silos. So after 1.5 hours with us, that's how Ron, who was representing SG Enable, essentially saw how Bilberries Blue can play a part in SG Enable's own vision and mission. So they had then said to us that they have a space about 22,000 square feet to serve the Jurong community. They are currently talking to a couple of community partners, and they've identified Social Collider as a co-working space manager. And we said that's good because we are not placemakers. We are not interested in space management, you know. So they pulled out that we could be there for this. So we had recorded what we were discussing yesterday, you know, primarily this. They see this as our strength. And for us, we are very adaptable. So we can kind of go in there and bring our joy and our wit with us and our expertise and our heart and our hard work and essentially contribute to that community. So I think BB Lighthouse has that kind of energy and flexibility. They pointed us to grants as well. So we've got two lots of grants that we hope we can get. And this is what I've communicated to everybody, that Bilberries Blue really needs to, because the revenue stream and the CSR funds are really quite dried up. So in the interim, we really need to lock down grants. Or we're also writing to a potential possibility, which is a Templeton Foundation competition. But we found out that they only start something that starts next year. So that's not going to be helpful. So for this year, we have to be able to get the grants for us to be able to fruit the BB Lighthouse. Then of course we have the youth stewardship that's ongoing, and they were very interested. And there were 2 youths that we thought that who might be able to join this program, Saifullah and Junming. Saifullah is using assistive technology to actually communicate. So I think we are very excited about that possibility if they could support and really deepen the diversity and full inclusion of our stewardship program, so that it doesn't become the old types of ideation about leadership, you know, where it's just top down, whether it's very heady. Yeah. So that's what we've sent to them. And what was really beautiful was Ron pulling out that, you know, again emphasizing what Bernie had also said, that and Washima had said as well. It's the time of the youths. That's why we're here. We're here to really let the voice and the participation of the youth really be visible and be tangible. So we let the youth stewards lead us. This came from Ellen and Tasha, How to Be an Adult. That's what they're finding really, really engaging about Bilberries Blue. They're able to learn to do more things. Respect all at home and community. Ellen, these are your words. I've put it down in writing. Helpful, polite, and no need to shout at others. And then, yeah. So Ellen and Tasha are starting to write all these for us. So from the big development guidelines, now the final aspects of how Bilberries Blue Lighthouses will really be framed by the youth stewards. he had said that we would do it together, intergenerationally. You may not think you need us, but I think you still need us, old fogies. Although I cannot say such things these days, but it's more like this was our wisdom piece. Okay, the youth piece, the opportunities, and this is the wisdom piece. So Alan's 3 rules of maintaining respect in community, right? Always count to 10, be happy, calm down. Okay. Tasha, I added your 3 rules to 0 bullying in community. Do you like that?
I love it.
Did I get that right, Tasha? Tasha and I had another half an hour privately about this. And she was very wise in not saying it during the seminar or the series. So we had a real heart-to-heart on this. And Tasha, correct? No bullying, right? And is this correct? We diagnosed certain situations and we said the bullying happened because... Tasha, you want to explain this a bit better?
Okay. In my primary school, I did have a few friends and teachers who used to pick on me all the time. I mean, just one teacher did it. She always came after me, and as for my classmates in my primary school, they all seem to have avoided me. But I do have one friend in that primary school, but that girl graduated far before I did. And in secondary school, as I told Auntie Pingan, was a bit better for me. But I did have one teacher again who picked on me for everything. Yeah.
Wow, Tasha, you've chosen to speak up today.
My God, you're so brave, Tasha. So brave. I love you.
Yeah, we thought maybe when it's in Tasha's own readiness, you know. But Tasha, you broke through, huh? So anyway, we said we move on, right? Yeah, we take the lessons. I said to Tasha, I'm not a counselor, I'm not trained counselor. We're just here for Tasha. We love Tasha, you know. We're like a friend, your Auntie Pingan, you know. And that's the reality and authenticity of Bilberries Blue. You know, we don't. I don't know what to say, Washima. Maybe you can help me with this. We're not.
No, I think because what she experienced, she would not like that to continue for anybody else. So that's a huge piece coming from Tasha, who's experienced it, and to get that harmony into workspaces, that has to be voiced. And this platform gives her the voice and makes her capable of making that change. So you know what it looks like, how everybody could be working more harmoniously if they only worked upon themselves, like this teacher. She would make so much more impact. Yeah. So that's wonderful. So unless Tasha spoke up, we would not be able to include it as a value for our own workspace. Lighthouse is a no bully place. So all decisions and all communications, all sensibilities have to be very aware and sensitive that none of us fall into that crappy space where we use our own power to diminish another. Right, Tasha?
Yes.
Yes. So that's how the value comes in as something very integral to a lighthouse space.
Yeah.
You are the champion of this, Tasha, huh? I said that I cannot imagine how, as a child, you could have endured this, Tasha. Huh?
Yes. Finally, she can do something about it.
Yeah, I forgot to. In fact, as I told Auntie Pingan, I am more worried about my younger sister getting into the same case.
Yes.
I mean, thank goodness she has more friends than I used to have. To watch over her, but still, it is my main worry.
Yes. No,
So I like that, Washima, that value that we are pulling out, man. And it's because
we're pulling out. So that's how we define our authenticities, because our values are coming from these big flashy what looks nice. It's coming from lived experiences. So our authenticity is taking values of our lived experiences. So it has to be coming from what needs to change. We talk about transformation, but it's also still very vague. But these values will help us nail that transformation in the community.
Wait, it's burning. Hang on. Washima, can you take this part with Ellen while I talk to Bernie? She has problems coming in. Hang on.
Okay.
Hello,
I like the way you immediately you wrote for you. And
sorry.
all people there for us.
Okay,
that's what will help us.
Into okay, yeah. Okay, now you're in. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay, Benny is coming too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where is it?
You've got two of you, Benny. Benny, we've got Grace from Drew and Napier, and Ryan, who's our sustainability.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
How come? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We forgot to take photos yesterday, so I'm just
yesterday I couldn't. I said, "Oh, what are they doing now?" We
had a really good session with Ron, SG Enable, and so now, smile.
Yeah.
Ryan, turn on your photo lah. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so we're just recapping from yesterday, and what really came up is the core values was coming from Ellen and Tasha. So while we have the kind of the universal conceptual framing, now we are emergencing Bilberries Blue lighthouses. We are going to go into more of the concrete, and that's.
So who's coming now? Who's coming?
We don't know who comes and who goes.
Yeah, but who is going to participate based on
today?
Who
We
you
have,
sent it to?
I think Ryan and Grace have joined us.
Okay.
We have covered zero bullying.
Okay.
And now I think Ellen, maybe you share a little bit about respect, because Ellen was really wanting to anchor the lighthouse in on this ground, Ellen, here. Maybe Ellen, you want to talk about here, the respect. I don't know whether I've got this correct, Ellen. We can still change this. So maybe Ellen, you want to share with us?
I also do this.
Oh, what do you write? You wrote an essay?
I write all about respect.
Wow.
Oh, all about respect. You want to read to us, Ellen?
Okay, I will through. So respect is very important. I respect you. You respect me. We respect each other. That we are happy. We are different people. We look very different. We are all special. So respect means we do not share or do anything to make other people unhappy or accept. Respect means inclusive. People with special needs or people with special needs, we are all in the community. Respect means we can take care of each other, I try to be kind to each other. And before it's BB program, then at the end, I think Washima, I go Shafi, and all the others. Also respect to me, because if we did let me, I thought, to let me talk about my others, I think this is to me.
Wow.
Wow, very good.
That's a respect statement there.
Then even more as well. I see respect means different things to different people. Respect is what where you act now, where just show you where also what wise, with wishes, while with a culture. It's good to show respect to people you interact your own basis. Respect for others, on social awareness, and respecting others for you and appreciates diversity. No diversity, right?
I know diversity.
Diversity.
My God.
Lovely.
Acting with awareness.
Wow.
Acting with. Oh, Ellen, why you set such a hard task for us? I just want to eat ice cream, you know. You guys are setting very nice, clean slate things, but very hard, you know. We have such bad habits, all of us. Huh? But wow.
That's beautiful mind, Tasha and Alan. You both enrich us and our thinking.
Yeah.
And with the moral courage as well, right?
Absolutely.
And the change has to happen, right? I mean, transformation is change, right? Bernie, you said it, right? Recreating, right? And if you don't take a commitment, then we haven't transformed.
Yeah. Nothing. Yeah, because no commitment. So what are you here for? Yes.
So how?
No
bullying, huh?
Sorry. Carry on.
No bullying means power is equalized, isn't it? Kindness.
So when you see the way the lighthouse is functioning, we are not undermining any beautiful mind. You know, every mind is beautiful, and we are not undermining, and hence the beauty gets a way to get made visible.
Yeah.
So and it would be so easy to give all of this to some marketing person and say, okay, come up with the right word for the values and all that. But that's not authentic. That's for marketing gimmick. That's why
a gimmick.
That's why these values are not lived, because they are not shared in everyday actions.
No, it's a marketing tool.
Yeah. So even there's a huge way in which we transform when we work authentically, because we are seeing possibilities, what needs a change in attitude, in mindsets, in workspaces, in each other's interaction, in the way we listen, in the way we give, in the way we pause to listen. Because most of the time, youth has been told not to talk and to listen, but they themselves haven't had that much time or platform to express themselves. So I feel there's a huge way in walking with this authentic approach to see transformation.
Yeah, because people always say, give us space, give us space. It's just a jargon.
It's just a jargon.
It's just a jargon. Everybody in every webinar, the conclusion is you have to be, they say, the best gift is to give presence and to be in the present. Very nicely said. You have to listen. Give them space. But it's all jargon.
Yes.
Doesn't have any meaning.
I just read it.
Alan cannot say that because he doesn't know, he doesn't talk jargon.
Alan doesn't talk jargon. Alan gives you the truth.
And this to me is the real empowerment, when every member of the community has a voice and the rest have the ability to listen.
Yeah.
Just not discard or diminish.
They let me talk about, Ellen has posted it to me onto our WhatsApp channel. They let me talk about my ideas and they listen to me.
So listening also becomes a value of.
Sometimes friendship is only listening.
Yeah.
Your friend said, "Thank you very much for your advice." I didn't say anything.
That often happens when I'm talking to you, Bernie.
I'm just
And
listening.
Washima.
I said, "What?" I didn't say anything, but I was with you.
Yeah, and Ryan. Ryan's my friend from.
Yeah.
Ryan and I have known each other for how many years? Too many. 33.
Yeah. So when they say listening, people are not listening.
Grace is my recent friend, you know. We just found a chemistry with each other. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh, Grace? Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to see you, meet you in person.
Yeah. We
When
don't
that
know why. We started corresponding on the WhatsApp, you know. She's kind of supposed to be my legal friend.
Is she here? Is she here?
Yeah, she's here. She's there right now.
Don't see her?
She doesn't want to turn on her video.
Oh, okay.
Ryan too.
Okay.
Yeah. So friendship, right? We talked about no bullying, respect. I feel these are qualities of friendship, you know. I don't know. Since we're all kind of friends and they're listening. But anyway, so clean slate, change means have to commit, write it down and mean it, right? Okay, let me move on a little bit to the operational side because we need a space, we need funding. And and I also think we need a tech system. So since Ryan is here and Grace is here, I want to show a little bit about what I was visualizing, okay? Okay, here. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay, so Grace and Ryan, where Vashima, Bernie and myself and Saif were working on was the youth stewardship program in January. It's almost the last piece of work that we're finalizing in this character through community. Although we didn't know that was what it was called, and we basically adapted this from the Templeton Foundation work. And I think it's very robust work. And the work that we were doing with Washima too during the last youth stewardship meeting with Bernie. Bernie works on formation, Washima on pedagogy, and we had spoken about how would you develop character, and you need a character development framework. So this is how it happens. You have to conceptualize the character. Character can only come in the community and your context. And we said that for Bilberries Blue and formation, it's about formation. Then the age group, it's actually birth to lifelong, more like a family, intergenerational. And somehow Bilberries Blue, we had journeyed this program with our people programs from 0 to 12, the Happy Heart School, 13 to 17 because we have the interns. And then we extended the youth group from 18 to 35 to align with United Nations. So that would be the sustainability in apprenticeship and the youth stewardship. The youth stewardship is now global.
Okay.
And then 36 to 100 plus will be like us, okay? Who have some expertise. Yeah. So we kind of really landed ourselves very well, but we were not aligning ourselves to the grant. Yeah, this is us using the tool to kind of examine what is it that we've done and what was in the work that we were doing. So we came up with a use imagery of a tree. Okay, so and then Bernie and Washima have extended this to say that instead of just one narrative, I think that was what was the struggle the other day when we tried to put it into one narrative. And I think this came from a National Library Board intern who came to visit our BB Open Studios. And he gave us the way out for this. He's also a youth. He's 25. He says he's a youth. So I said, okay. We were talking and listening, right? So they said, and he came up with this idea. I think he expressed it very well in the email that he sent for us. But that's the idea. It's just like a codependence fabric. I don't know how to describe it. It's more all narratives, but maybe we have one anchor, which is the tree, and then our community, then together in the all the layers of the communities that we have, or the programs that we have, we are a communities of character. We are a group of communities of character, and I think our core is a self-determined personal stewardship. We are our own driver, right, Bernie? Correct? Yeah. So this makes Bilberries Blue anchored in self-determined personal stewardship. We commit to that. As in the languaging of this way. Of course, you can language it in a pedagogy way or formation way, but we were trying to language a sustainable development language in a corporate business way. So that's why this becomes the most easy to understand way. Okay. And it's linked to responsibility, the stewardship. So, and then on content, and then you need content expansion. So once you've got the context and the culture and the norms and developmental relationships, they pointed out, so mentors and all, that's why you need intergenerational, because you need the developmental relationships in order to form character through community. So it's living. And so this piece is all kind of people. And then when we say what is in the content, so we said that we will have opportunities, right? So you need knowledge and skills and opportunities to actively construct the identity and habits. So this column here all came from Templeton Foundation, their framework for character development. So I found that very useful, and very quickly we could fill up this grid here. And you need new curriculum, new community practices, and new opportunities. I understand now why they say new, because, Bernie, you're right. Recreation and transformation requires new, right? So we've then got these new places. We've got the framework, the tube framework. Now we've got the lighthouses, and we've got the summer school. Now, the lighthouses and summer school curriculum and communal practices has not been defined yet, and we're in the process of doing that. And for the lighthouses, we can do it, like they say, adaptively to every community that we go into. So it doesn't have to be a specific. And summer school is Washima's expertise here with the edu retreat and the yatra and bringing the world into the classroom into the world, and the school of life, you know. Tube, I think, is the framework. It's very neutral, and it has the knowledge and skills in there. And yes, the opportunities. So together, I think it's a fully inclusive, sustainable entrepreneurism that we are committed to. And I think with the UNDP, SDG impact goals, the sustainable development goals are very, very clear. They are rolling out the standards now. The first draft is actually out. Maybe it's the second draft. And it's already all there. It's quite easy to bring it into corporate governance. I've had a look at it. It's new. I think they've tied up with Duke University here, so we have to deep dive this a little bit. But it's not difficult to bring it into the Tube Sustainable Enterprise Framework, which was largely corporate governance based, and it's quite easy to do assurance through it. So I'm quite confident that we are able to offer this for enterprises who desire to really move on to the UNDP SDG impact towards sustainable development. And we should be able to do up some very easy assurance work if they so desire. If not, they just leave it. And because the standards allow you to have 3 tiers of what level of commitment you want to commit to the standards. So while they haven't rolled out the standards, it's an opt-in, you know. So I think it's exciting. We can do it for ourselves first and model it. And then with the apprentices, the interns, deep understanding this. And in fact, we map it to the work that they've done with us, like the micro summits, you know, like Emergencing this lighthouse, the youth stewardship program. So that alone is the context, because we haven't done the documentation for that, and we've kept it open because we were waiting for this piece, right? So this piece really bounds it, and then this piece really defines the values that we're really pulling out from what is required. So I think this becomes then the content for the plan, the annual plan. So everybody has this, right, in the corporate governance, and still you see that it's not enough commitment to goodness and good work, you know, in economy and society. So it's what Washima and Bernie are saying. It's kind of gimmicky, right? So, but for us, okay, we have the framework. So now these are the content, and we got to live it. Doesn't have to be big, it just have to be good and real. So once you have that, the lighthouse keepers would write their own operating manual for the lighthouse, and it would be in their own language. It would be in a way that they would operate it. And our role is really to guide and look out for blind spots, you know, very similar to the youth stewardship program, light touches, okay? Ryan, here is where I think we will need your input. I feel that because it's COVID and the world is going into digitalization, that there needs to be a platform, no matter how we want to design it. So once we hear what the lighthouse keepers are desiring to operate and serve and offer in the lighthouses, then we have to kind of see what kind of type platform that can equalize across. Eventually you will have a global region as well, but let's say you just start from Singapore, and maybe since you're in Malaysia, we can do it from Malaysia as well, you know. So essentially 3 components keep coming out. You have to have space management, you have to have a collaborative ability to work, live, play, because we are now all toggling in and out. Right. One day lockdown, one day go out and play, one day play too much, one day and then they go out, you know. So this is going to be our pandemic world. It doesn't look like we're going to come out of it even by this year. Not even next year, I don't think. We're going to be in it. 3 to 5 is a good frame to deep prepare. So our entire work here is 2020 to 2025. So with this project, then it keeps our mind very alive, alert, attentive, and we can immediately serve the needs of communities in COVID, during the pandemic. So Ryan, maybe you help us think through.
Yeah, looks like something of an e-learning platform.
It's work as well, because they are going to do work. They could be producing stuff out of the lighthouse, going on e-commerce. Our work is really about economic empowerment as well, because if you're looking at the youth and the apprentice, they're coming off, they've left school already, but the learning is there because it's lifelong learning.
Yep.
And we have, what we found out from BB Studio is we have tons of resources, books, tools, toys. Those are only because the work we were doing was for childhood, you know, and adolescent. Not so much even adolescent, but now our kids who have been journeying with us are becoming adults. So I think we would need to start building the materials that are there, and then all of us are kind of going towards the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you know. So I think it's more like a library for resources for, yeah, it's wide. It's lifelong, yeah.
Yep. Something to explore, yes. You can, talking about resources, you can actually download Wikipedia and use it on your own and customize it, you know. Especially like for an organization.
That's interesting, yeah. You're right,
Yeah.
you're right. So maybe you can help us to think around how we can even begin doing this and facilitate a session.
Start doing it as a building block somewhere.
Yeah.
Before linking up all these, your videos, your multimedias, and all these things together.
I think it's quite cool that we have our own BB wiki.
Yeah, because that's how I mean, if you look at for example, like Star Wars, they have their own fan, and then their fan keeps their own what they call the wiki dome of everything there is to know about Star Wars or Star Trek, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm sure you're familiar with everything that is about Yoda, and you know, so you get input all over the world, not just on the characters but also on the merchandise and everything. So it's very resourceful.
Yoda has a direct transmission to me. I don't really need to read. I have a real connection to Yoda. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't laugh.
But in the end, whatever that we are doing or using, we also have to keep an eye on the grant that is this assistive technology grant from SG Enable, right? So they do include the software grant of it rather than hardware, because I was looking through, it looks very much hardware and there's no mention of any software as well.
Yeah, we don't know enough about it yet, so that's why it's exciting. I think we will just take step by step and then see who comes into the project or to the lighthouse, you know, or every lighthouse is adapted to a community, to a space, and then the concreteness will drive what is going to come up. So our design process is not like what Washima says, you just take these conceptual ideas and then push it down, but it's going to come from the persons who are involved in driving the design, the new design, right? Because it's not been addressed. So they're talking about inclusive products and all that, you know. So assistive technology is also, it came from quite an old world of assumptions about people with extra needs. So in itself, it may already be old, actually. Even the idea of it. I was watching Keith navigate, right? He was able to use the touchpad. Maybe different people would be different, but what I'm hoping for this whole thing is small is beautiful. So we can use whatever is out there and basically adapt. Yeah, whether it's hardware, software, like you say. So when you're right, when they cut the ground to just hardware and then no software considerations, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't at all.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. This age, yeah. So I think, you know, if you can guide us here as you're tracking the needs that's emerging and what. So we're following the needs and we are loving that it's being driven by the user. It could actually be a result of adapted to very personally to the specific user. So we're not here to say, oh, we're going to create this product and then we're going to scale this and what we're here is service. And the service for us is very concretely the person itself who's in front of us and who is our friend. You know, we know him or her as even as our family. You know, so Bilberries Blue's goals and visions, we're deep. People think we are very lofty, but we're actually very sincere in doing just that. So when I was reflecting on our transformation, I just come back to that again. This is real and this is good enough for us. This is very good, you know. So in the end, what we will have is this huge diversity that's likely to be very personalized. And because it's very personalized and authentic, it is already also very adaptive to the cultural diversity. So the UNDP vision for SDG 2030 is essentially systemic. You know, are you able to have this systemic change? And I think we have it somehow woven in like this. And the answer is actually here, the individual itself, himself or herself. So this is where Bunny yanked us all back in here. I wanted to do this work and then she yanked us all back here. Bunny, one quick punch on on this piece again so that we hear it.
Yeah, what we said is transformation. You already mentioned many things about transformation.
The formation piece.
What do you mean?
like our core is really the person.
Yeah.
The
That's why we
delivery
said-
is the person's fulfillment, right?
Mm,
The delivery, these are just enablers.
mm.
But the real delivery is the person able to, a person who is able to fulfill his or her own, what would you say?
That's why we went into that journey of possibilities. No, it's you call it very pragmatically, it's character development. And that's what Templeton is always emphasizing. Yeah, we have to hit the message that what we're doing now is character development, which is translated into your own deep-seated inner core development. Yeah. Character is just external manifestation. What is your inner core?
And what is that, Bunny? Tell us again.
Character is just the external manifestation of your inner self, of your inner core. When you ask me, what is your inner core? Remember what I said to you with that article? Everybody has an inner core. Whatever is that inner core, whether it's truth, if you are always truthful with yourself, then you behave truthfully all the time. But if you're a liar, your behavior will change your inner core, so the two have to align. Either you change your behavior, you don't lie, so that it matches your inner core, which is truth. Or if you're a liar, your inner core inside is you never believe in telling the truth. So the behavior is inside you. If a child has been brought up always being true to himself, which is the truth, that child's inner core is truth. I remember there was an article at that time, just to illustrate the example. There was this guy, he did something on insider trading. And he went to prison because it's insider trading. And then he said the most painful part is not so much that he was in prison, but his baby growing up and he couldn't even see the baby. So after he left prison, he said, I remember what my father told me when I was growing up. He said, son, there's no difference between stealing a pencil, still stealing a pencil, and what the people are doing insider trading, that's stealing. So he said, I remember that when I got out of prison. So he became a high school teacher. There's a paradigm shift for him. This is what I'm saying. Inside of you, there is an inner compass. So and that is what we are seeing with this youth.
So when you're able to go into the inner core, that's why we want everyone to be having that awareness, right?
Yes.
Acting from that awareness, right?
Yes, there is consonance. There is no dissonance.
And COVID just hits home, right? The cognitive dissonance relating to COVID.
Yes, yes.
Really hits home. So Bilberries Blue is, so character is actually, this is a pragmatic way of explaining, but our hitting home is really into the inner core. And the work that we have to do is because it's sustainable development, because
it's SDG. It's a social development, sustainable development goal.
Yeah.
In your whole life, you have to manage your inner core so that it aligns with your behavior outside. It's basic, no? That's why these children, Natasha and Alan, they don't have any language. They don't need to relanguage. When they say this, they don't mince words. You have to respect me, whoever I am, whatever are my ability. So I don't know how to put it, but that is the message that we are trying to hit for Templeton or even for the project.
I think it's beyond Templeton now because we
Yeah,
have quite a lot of grant body. I think we're driving the messaging even.
It's the message, yeah.
The inner core, because once you hit the inner core, it's your behavior changes. That's the transformation.
Yeah,
and
then you
once that change, your commitment to making the world better will happen. So Ryan,
Yes.
can you help us think what is the simplest way to enable this through technology? Okay, clean slate. Don't think about all the other existing tools that are there, because we can actually develop anything we want. But
we can look at a lot of third parties, free to download kind of tool first to kind of feel around and see whether they are suitable for us before we look deeper into those that are more resourceful.
Yeah. But a simplicity where everybody, right, and we have many youths with us who are very diverse, and that's why we've done full inclusion, so that we can really get the diversity and the needs of the diversity that's not been served, the underserved, and then simplify something so simple as Bernie has said. From my inner core, I can extend that to impacting, to living my life in a way that I am aligned and I have the consonance with my inner core. Like this only. Okay. The technology, the how and all that, it just comes later.
Whoever you are, you include Natasha, you include Alan, you include Ajin, you include Andromeda. They all are consistent. They're very, very consistent. Because that's the inner core in them. I wouldn't even say human being, because I don't like to call people human being, because there's a vegetable being, there's an animal being, there's a human being. But human being, you can be a vegetable all your life, but you're still a human being. All these people who probably because of brain damage, they're still human beings. But when you talk of a person knows how to act, knows how to decide, how to choose. And that's why we say, this is the inner core. When I do something, it has to align with what is inside of me. I don't know how to put it in a platform, but that is exactly what we are driving at in our character transformation.
So Ryan, something that empowers them to make decisions, make good choices, understanding the consequences. That means it's accountability,
Accountability.
So it lends very well to this evaluation thing. So we are an organization. How does an organization know if its activities are having anticipated impact? Our impact is So I think this piece people run away from: evaluation, reflection. That's where Washima, you're muted. Yeah, I can see you coming in here, Washima.
Yeah.
Take us through this piece.
This idea of the lighthouse guided with our inner compass, that's a very powerful imagery. Like a lot of people have trouble thinking about your inner core. It's still very abstract, but the inner compass that Bernie mentioned gives a very strong, because everybody inside knows what's right, what's wrong.
Everybody.
Even the teacher who was bullying Natasha, deep inside, if she was led to her inner compass, she would be able to see what's not right. But so lighthouse shines light on those opportunities where you're living with your inner compass.
Shines light on opportunities. So we're going deeper than this map already, right? You are living your inner compass. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a benchmark of evaluation now.
Yeah, because it would help every piece of reflection.
Yeah. Otherwise it becomes relativism, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I call relativism. Relativism is nothing else but you change your behavior because you believe inside has to align with your behavior. So everything is relative.
Yes.
Everything is relative. I will always change my behavior with what I believe. If I believe that stealing is not wrong, so I have no qualms stealing.
So there is then a compass.
Of course. Every person knows deep down inside when they're not doing something that is in accordance.
So how are we going to write this down?
So
it has to emerge, right? Look, so where we are now is self-community evaluation. So we have this the house, right? You make art to have mirrors to reflect yourself, and then we have this pedagogical documentation where it's primarily community perspectives, right? We're wiring this in, right? So that you don't live in a self-absorbed way. And we have this compliance reporting because there's law and order. Okay, so this is our framework, and in the richness of the expression and the discovery, we have this. It looks very artistic. It looks very has the academic rigor, because thinking needs to have that. Innovation needs to have that, and we have this accountability, right? Because accountability to each other and resources as well, so that we don't use up the Earth's resource, right?
You remember what this guy said, the Malaysian guy, when we asked in the last meeting? And then he said in Malay, he said, the best way to find myself is to lose myself in the service of others. So for him, it's selflessness. He has to be selfless, and by being selfless, he is going to help others, and then he finds himself again. Even somebody like him has that inner core of being concerned with other people.
We can't run away from our human goodness.
No.
We can't run away from this anymore, can we? COVID
you run away because
COVID has really hit home.
Everybody is talking about wellness. Everybody is talking about fulfillment. Everybody's talking, but they don't touch the basic core because they don't want to change. They don't want to transform. Because if you hit it, that means I know I need to transform my life.
This is even simpler than this. I don't even need all these slides and all these models.
Yeah.
Okay, so even simpler, but we'll keep all this. These are very good pedagogical documentation and thinking. This is even simpler than I think. So inner compass.
Hi Ping Yan. Sorry if I can just interrupt. I'm so sorry, but I need to hop off another call now.
Okay.
But thanks so much for inviting me to this. It's really quite thought-provoking, some of the things that were said. Yeah, but yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt. But I do need to jump off to another call.
But thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Grace.
Take care.
Thank you, Grace.
Take care, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So we are having this other interesting thing that I'm seeing. The community and business leaders are really joining our process, and without, it's so consistent. Every one of them has said, my goodness, never attended something like this before. They probably thought it was a webinar, or so I think us being ourselves like this, it's just really working.
But these I think are called deep conversations.
We're not mincing our words anymore, right?
No.
And
where it's still transmitting just information, and of course thought-provoking questions and perspectives, but it's still transference of one perspective.
It's running away. So Tasha really opened today's session,
Yeah.
picking up, Tasha, we're so proud of you leading the way with this.
Fantastic.
I'm getting very serious about this now. Since
What did you say? I wasn't at the beginning.
Tasha, maybe you share with Bernie again what you shared with us.
I've spoken about this with Auntie Pingan yesterday, and then I've said it before, but in my primary school, my friends and one of my teacher used to pick on me all the time. She was always coming after me, my handwriting, my hair, everything. And as for my class,
she was bullying you.
If it's what you call bullying, I don't know what I call it really. And as for my classmates, they all, every single one of them, except for that one friend which I had in primary school, they all kind of avoided me. And that friend which I had in primary school, she graduated way before I did.
Tasha, how many years?
What was the friend about? The only friend that you have, what did she do?
She spoke to me, we ate together in the canteen. She was the only one I had until she graduated before I did. In fact, Auntie Pingan, I think I was still in that school when I attended the butterfly camp. How old was I back then?
14 years old.
So what happened in the school afterwards? The friend defended you?
Graduated before I did. She was older than me, so she graduated way before I did.
So you were 8 years in the school, Tasha. You were right.
I knew it. 8 years. Mommy says 7.
Wait, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 8 years. Was that the last year? Butterfly camp was the last year you were in that school, right? Butterfly camp. Butterfly camp was in December of. Alan, which year?
No, I do not. No. I don't think that. No. I don't think that butterfly camp was the last year. But I do remember that it was 8 years.
Yep, you were 14, so that would have been 8 years.
So what happened afterwards? The friend, I didn't catch the last one.
Graduated.
She's older, so she graduated. Yeah. So Tasha was alone.
Me and that friend, we are still in close contact.
That's great, Tasha. Tasha was alone in that school for 8 years.
Yeah. And then in Emergencing, and secondary school was a bit better for me. But I still had that one teacher who, just exactly what that primary school teacher used to do to me. I've told Auntie Pingan this before, but out of all my classmates, I was the only one he made fun of. I didn't quite understand why.
So I said to Tasha yesterday, I don't know what I said, Tasha, because I didn't know what to say. Because Tasha had shared it privately with me. So I guess I said, maybe when she feels that the time is right, she can speak about it.
No.
And then she chose to speak about it today, knowing that the session is going to be recorded. Because when she thought about why it had happened, Tasha could jump in and correct me if I got it wrong. Okay, when she reflected on why it could have happened, it was because, Tasha, tell me in your own words why. You said something like it's because they knew that you wouldn't speak up. You wouldn't You wouldn't talk about
You're
it.
right.
Huh?
They took high advantage of that one. They really took high advantage of that.
Can you explain again? Took advantage of you not...
The reason why I never did speak up is because I knew I was going to get into more trouble if anything, if I did speak up or if mommy did tell anyone about this. And I think that was why they took high advantage of it. They took advantage. My classmates, my teachers, all of them. The two teachers, both of them took advantage.
So Tasha then made a determination today, right, Tasha?
Mm-hmm.
To not be afraid anymore and speak up. And I think Tasha's motivation was she was worried that this was happen to, say, her younger sister. She sees something like
She's
this.
in P5. She's in P5 now, but you know, it's seriously, my main concern.
It's her main concern, yeah.
My main worry.
So Tasha had then made a determination for Bilberries Blue LightHouses to bring this piece in where it's zero bullying. So one, no bullying. Two, you have to learn to speak up to protect yourself. And we also spoke about how amazing Tasha is. She has no bitterness. She has no, you know, she endured 8 years of this. And now her moving forward is setting up Bilberries Blue Lighthouse, be a lighthouse keeper, and setting the ground straight. Right, Tasha?
Yes.
But we did speak about, I don't know how to use this word, but maybe letting go, maybe forgiveness. I don't know. I am not at liberty to be able to speak on Tasha's behalf.
I think that's the thing that I need right now.
I can't. I'm not, you know, Tasha, maybe Auntie Bernie will be able to help you better with this piece, because for me personally, my own philosophy is I don't say to somebody, I think you need to forgive, or I think you need to. I think it's in everybody's own time, their own way of processing one's past or things that happened to them, you know. And 8 years is very, very long. And I don't think we are in any place to be able to say, oh, you need to forgive now, Tasha. 8 years is too long. And you're only 22 years old. This is like very, very long. So, so what I had then shared with Tasha, friend to friend, heart to heart, Tasha is an adult now, is she takes her time.
Take your time. It will unfold itself what you want to be and what you want to do. Yeah, only you can see that.
I also feel that now that she has spoken about it and she's worried about her sister, I think one way of letting that experience help her is to be the voice for others also, to make sure that workspaces, school classes, you can be that voice, because you will be able to empathize much more deeply, because you went through it and you didn't speak about it for so long.
Actually, kind of think of it. I remember there was one time when I did it in secondary school, when I defended my classmate.
Yeah.
I did, because they all came flashing back to me when my teacher was scolding them. They didn't do anything wrong. I mean, they were late for classes, but other than that, they were in the toilet with my other friend. So I did stand up for them, because they all came flashing back all my memories, everything. I could not let that happen to the rest of my classmates, to the few girls. I couldn't.
So you touch many lives, change experiences, if you make that, if that comes to you as you want to be voiced, you want to be able to give voice to others too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you can heal. You can never forget about it. You can never say, oh,
Those memories, I tell you, those memories are always with you.
Yeah.
Those memories.
Yes, absolutely. You can never forget, but yes, you can then make that a cause to make sure that you're able to give voice to others who have that kind of experience, unfortunate experience. So more adults can't get away with that. There's accountability for that.
It actually happened to my other friend in secondary school. Her classmates were bullying her. Her classmates.
And sometimes when I have spoken to some teachers, because remember, Tasha, I was working with children who had teachers who sometimes I would see them being a little bit mean. And so when I would talk to the teachers on the side, when I would talk to the teachers on the side, they would tell me, oh, but we want the best for the child. But I said, yes, your intention may be good, but the way you're going about is your action is not so good. Your intention
No doubt the two teachers wanted what is best for me, no doubt, but the way they went about it is...
Yeah. So sometimes the teachers, they don't have adequate training or the awareness or the realization that yes, they might, like a lot of teachers would tell me, oh, but we love him so much, we want the best for him. But I said, if you want the best for him,
I know that those two teachers love me very, very much, but the way they went about it's wrong.
Yeah, you're right. That's what happens. So sometimes teachers are, they are harsh because they think that that way they will get the best out of.
I think
yeah. So it's not anything personally against you as much as they're not being aware that that's not the best way to get out of the other. Yeah, so many teachers would tell me that because I would call them up in my office and I would say, I saw you doing this to the child and that wasn't so good, because they would pull out the children and make them sit down on a chair. And I would say, how will that help him? He says, no, learn how to do it better next time. But their approach wasn't right. Their intention
the way
was
they came
not
across, it definitely wasn't right.
Yeah. So that's just a thought of my own experience with the teachers.
So Tasha, maybe you have to take the time to really deep understand the issues surrounding and the dynamics of adults and children in spaces. And you are actually working with children anyway, right? You love working with children, the educator piece, and maybe this is something you can put on your personal atelier as well, on top of pottery, education, and this piece, deep explore this with Washima. Maybe things are not black and white as well, and especially when people are in a social situation, I think what you were going through and what Washima had said reminded me of my own personal journey with trisomy 21 and the early days when Washima had to really carry me together with Hima because I was so angry. Had a lot of and it took me 13 and a half years. And Washima has said the same to me, that my experience is the one that is going to be able to drive some of the things that is unacceptable and have to change. But I still have to find my own articulation and I still have to find my own healing. I think the power of the pedagogical documentation and a very rigorous way of examining things that have happened to us, I think it's in allowing us to grow and heal, like she used this word, heal, and it's through service also, because the driver is that so that it doesn't happen to somebody else. And my driver was really, I don't want another mother to go through what I had to go through with the lack of resources, the confusion, the negative narratives, surrounding trisomy 21. Alan, yeah. So Alan's mom is on this fire journey as well, and our whole driver is so that pain and suffering that we've lived through, right? Doesn't have to happen to somebody else. Doesn't mean that it may not happen, but at least we have tried to make it so that more will not have to go through that kind of suffering. And then in that process, we have not educated. In the process, we have illuminated. That's the difference. That's why Washima said, shine the light on the areas when you're closest to the core. There's an illumination around it. There's almost like an enlightenment and understanding. It's a very deep, and then from there, you won't even need to use that word forgiveness, because I don't know what it means. But you will be freed from that's my personal journey. You'll be freed from the entrapment and the anger. And
from the pain.
From the pain.
Hmm?
The pain is still there, no, Washi?
Washi's still there, yeah. No, it takes a long time. It's gone so deep. It takes a. But again, I would tell the teachers sometimes when they would feel bad, when I would talk to them about it, then I would say you can't go back to what has already happened. None of us can.
Yeah.
You can't change the past, but we can change the future now.
Yeah.
So that's what the journey then became for those teachers, that they were much more aware, and they would check themselves, because they would do it out of love for children, good intention, but bad approach.
I like this bad approach. we really need to frame this and just pull it out and say bad approach, because the consequence of the bad approach is very deep. It hurts very deeply a child. So there is one thing I think did happen for me, since we're on transformation, right? I made a determination to self-heal.
Sometimes we cling on to our pain,
Yeah.
Because it becomes our identity, it becomes our fire.
Yeah. Actually, it's because we still can't find an articulation. So because we don't want to forget. We don't want to forget because we don't want to forget because it's so big, right? And forgetting doesn't work anyway, because there was supposed to be a lesson.
You can never forget, and that is for sure. You can't say forget and forgive. There can only be forgiven. They can be forgiven. You can never forget.
That's one thing that I will not do. I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, I can't forgive a couple of my friends who were nasty. I can never forget, but I've forgiven them, because I said it's not important for me anymore. What I do with that experience now is more important for me now.
So the self-determination to self-heal is, you got to know that nobody is able to heal you in a way. You can't expect society to change overnight. You can't expect people to say the things you want them to say. Alan is the same, right? Alan works on self-advocacy, right? You can't. That's 9 billion people in 2030. If everybody does the thing we want them to do, say in the lighthouse, we'll be robots. We will be back to those guys who want to dictate human behavior and society transformation and evolution. We're not interested in that, So the only place that we can find back our joy and our freedom is the choice, right? Washima, and the determination.
To make it your fuel, so do something about it.
And then you discover what it does for you. We can't even tell you, oh, you do it this way, you're going to feel this way, you're going to heal, we can't. It's got to be your own discovery, you know.
You know, I was thinking, because of my experience with the children and all that, if we invited all children and said, have you ever felt bullied? My God, we would run into pages and pages and pages of personal narratives.
So
Yeah.
how do we do this? How do we do this? Huh?
Yeah. So
I
like
no doubt more of them has been through this one.
yes. And in such ways, in such sometimes very, very, what should I say, heartbreaking ways.
So what do we do with this? So we would be very brave in allowing it to be out. Yeah, in order to confront something, right?
Yeah.
Raise something, because I still always love there's a video by Maya Angelou, you know, and she always says, nothing human is alien to me. And she was quoting this African proverb and reminder.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the only place we can end up with, you know. Because if we can't do the acceptance of human nature, right? We will become like, we will always be fire and brimstone, you know what I mean? This is where Bernie is saying, right? Acceptance, right? I think human nature is not perfect.
Yeah, but you see, we have to work on the scars. We don't want to be scarred for life for somebody else's actions. So that's why we have to work on us. That why would we want to keep a scar unless it is giving us some kind of direction to make things right?
So let's work on this as a skill, right?
Okay.
We are facing society. Society is not perfect. Some do it out of volition of meanness, even, you know. Some do it unconsciously. Some do it whatever. Okay, but the meanness is going to come, right? You can't say it's you're going to be in a bubble if you don't have the resilience to enter into society and expect it, right? So, and even if you're prepared, you will still be wounded. We know that too well. Right? Especially for sensitive souls like us, you know. The more reflective you are, you're sensitive, right? So then we have to have skills, right? This is what I do. I have an algorithm. Maybe the whole Bilberries Blue was really to have like defense against society, you know, so that I don't personalize all these things and say, oh, that person attacked me or whatever. I just like, I told Washima I have a list, you know, from A to Z. There's 26 levels, okay. I have like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you could be like on my Z list. And then if you're on my A list, then you're like very close to my heart. I know you won't be, you know. Then if you like shout me, right, I'm not like, you go into B list. I don't know. So you have to find a way to cope, right?
Yeah.
And it's very real, you know. And Washima always says, you know, the humor, we must not lose that, right?
Yeah, we got to kind of not take it too seriously anymore, because that, if you know that somebody is being mean, it's easier said than done. That, okay, it won't hurt me. Of course you get hurt, but you cannot give your remote control to somebody else. Like this. They press your buttons and you kind of react. That means we have given our remote control in somebody else. Somebody else plays us. But you know that it is somebody's bad day. I shut them out. You do what you want to. You throw something, I don't catch it. It doesn't touch me. But this comes after a lot of practice, not so early in life as what you went through. That time you're so frightful, fearful, self-doubt. My God, what's going to happen if I go tell somebody? There's so many things.
Exactly what I was thinking. I am so scared of getting into more trouble from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are cases where you talk about it, then they're worse. They become worse.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
way she was very
Now that
nice.
you mention it, yes, that was once that particular teacher. I was complaining about one of my friends, Mahesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the particular teacher. It really did make it worse for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So even angry,
So that's why you when you grow up like this, you realize that the world is very complex. It's not as easy as coming home to a lovely home, loving family, and going out to this friendly world. No, you have to have that toolkit of there are going to be layers and layers of complexities. So Lighthouse can help to provide that lens, that light on the complexities with which we are all surrounded and navigate. So we kind of, moment we get more light, we kind of navigate. So this incident that you had, which is horrible, I think no child should go through this at all.
I agree.
Yeah,
you're
no
a child. You're
but-
unprotected. Yeah.
So now we can do something about it in our own little way. We can't change the world, but we can find ways in which we still have to think how best to get the voice across, even be a listener to friends who've gone through it and move on. We have to move on because we've got no choice, right? We can't go back to being 8 years and have this strength which you have now. What strength you have now, only if that strength was there, but that was not possible. So things are more complex and there are no easy answers, right? Okay, phone is going to die. So we have to start wrapping up. Otherwise, I'll have to catch up again. And
Okay, so I have 3 points for today's notes of meeting. Inner compass or inner core, okay? I think we still need to go back to that. Is there? It's almost like an ideal human person. I don't know if there's such a thing or what's innate. We shine light on opportunities where you're living your inner compass. Okay.
Yeah.
The third piece, Washima, you said it. I should have written it down. Now I lost that word. It was before navigating. You said something about. So you have your inner compass, then you shine. So lighthouse shine light on opportunities when you're living your inner compass. So
yeah.
So the lighthouse keepers, the space is yours.
Because nobody lighthouse telling you what to do. They're just shining light on what's possible. Right? We can't be saying you do this and you do that. No, it has
that's scripting. We don't script human beings, or human persons.
Yeah.
So you have to touch your inner core. You have to be dare to touch it, right? Like what Bernie said, you don't create wellness programs so that you run away from your inner core. So I'm going to put dare to touch your inner core. Dare to touch your inner core. Lighthouse shines light on opportunities where you're living your inner core, inner compass. Okay, we'll use both since Bernie and Washima has both, and the subtlety in the difference, I think.
Sometimes we even have to be aware of our inner compass.
Yeah.
Teacher, if she was in any kind of training situation, reflective pedagogy, she would be able to find her inner compass. But because nobody, poor thing, I feel bad now for the teacher also, who was helped, and she lived being such a monster, you know. So she need not have been a monster if she had got that light and that awareness that you cannot destroy other children's spirit just because you love them. That's a very bad way of doing it.
So what do you need to do to make people aware?
So this again, the idea of discovering your inner compass. A lot of reflective, what we call is the reflective pedagogy. Reflective pedagogy gets you to think about your own actions. Because unless you see, how do we come across awareness? If I'm aware of it, it's only if I think about it, right? But in our fast pace, we don't even get time to think about things.
Not only think about it, you refuse to touch it because you know the moment you touch it, it will come out.
You freak out. You freak out because this,
monster, you know.
You've departed so much from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the layers of mask that we put on, right? Mask.
That's why I said.
I would have teachers who would cry, Natasha, who would cry because moment they became aware that yes, they loved the child, but their action wasn't right, they would feel so guilty and they would cry. And we said, okay, what's gone is gone, but you can change from today. So personal journeys are very, very difficult.
So putting it on a very pragmatic level, what is our sustainable development goal to make people aware of their inner core and touch it? And once they touch it, to work out something about it. Because you can touch it, but you can run away. It's not a matter of touching it.
Yes, so lighthouses are very safe spaces, right? To find your inner compass, right? Because people, like, unless Natasha felt very safe with us, why would Natasha have it? Yes, it has to be a safe, loving space that we are not judging Natasha, right? It's just we're looking at her, how brave she is to have gone through it and now able to speak about it and making sure nobody else goes through it.
Yeah, and we're not messing with her emotions, or we're not directing her.
No.
You know.
So how can our program connect? My question is, what to do in order that the program can connect to ignite that lighthouse?
I think what I've observed so far, interestingly, has a very simple answer. It's just us living it.
Yes.
It can't be. We say, "Oh, this is a template again," of you going through. What I've seen is when people come into our space so far, consistently either they freak out and they run far away, or they start being reflected and they say, and then I will ask him, what was it? And then I will like, I'm just living me, and why you? So it's so our commitment is to commit to living our own inner core and trusting that is the answer. That is the way. For me, that's and then we have all the tools out there anyway, you know. There's no shortage of tools, right, Bernie, for self-work, for you know, picking up that first needle to thread it and do your embroidery. There is no.
When you say we, there are only a handful of us.
It's very powerful. You'll be very surprised. We are going to be so Bilberries Blue, for example, right? It was in the dark that it emerged. You know, and you had, and Jack had come and listened to me, right? And in 5 years, you look at what Bilberries Blue has been. Look at the 108 pages, and I look back even before Bilberries Blue with the Happy Heart School and all that. And Alan coming and saying, it's been 10 years, Auntie Ping Yan, you know. So I think it's not about the numbers. I think it's in the deep integrity to to that kind of living. I don't know how to explain it. But now, of course, we are going into many communities and setting up the lighthouse spaces. And more, even as speaking to SG Enable Ron yesterday, and also Marcus from TP, they're very thoughtful people, very, very thoughtful and very deep. And a lot of them have come to visit BB studios, open studios, including the library and all that. And they just want us to be like that. In our seeming simplicity. So the summary that I received is as thus: one is BB is a home with an invisible system, safe haven. Another one is I shared about one little candle, semicolon, one love. So I think for us, our biggest strength is our smallness, and I think your formation milestone number 4. When I read it again, live for others. When you were drafting it, and I said, I like this word, right? Smallness. I don't think you can live your inner core very, very big. I think it's only possible. It's only possible to live every day. It's very hard already, and like this, I think there is the power in our recording, our documentation, and of course the writing and all that is all going to come up. The
It's
power.
not big or small. It's not that. It's what I'm hearing is, if a person goes to this lighthouse studio, then they will see that this is bringing out the best in them. Whatever it is.
Sorry, I'm tipping in. I need to go to the toilet.
Go to the toilets. Please go to the toilet. If you're here, we'll wait for you.
But what is it? No, because you talk about reflective pedagogy, you talk about inner core, you talk about touching it. But at the end of the day, people will say it. But if they're not ready to make a change, all of this will be nothing. It's the readiness and the determination.
We have a very big extrinsic factor now, to push the change, which is COVID and climate change and climate emergencies.
That's right.
I think this decade doesn't give anybody a chance to not change anymore, In fact, I think that day has come, and the lighthouse is providing the why and the how. Not the why, sorry.
It's the how.
So that's where Ryan comes in with the library of resources and all that. And then they're going to ask, how do you all do it? Then we say, there's no manual, right? But we can say, go on, sorry, Ryan.
Alan wants to say something?
Yeah. Oh, Alan.
Let me, I'm bed, so I need to go now. But I see you.
Yeah, Alan, we need your quick wisdom before you go. What do you think today is about, and what do you think is the answer that Auntie Bernie is asking? Do you have any insight?
Oh, well, actually, they have been planned, bullying, and we get respect each other, and I could be that house.
Say again, no bullying?
Yeah, no bullying, and always respect each other, and I could be that house.
The third one is?
I like BB Lighthouse.
You like BB Lighthouse. Why? Why?
Yeah, because I like BB Lighthouse because it treated me as an adult.
Treats you as an adult.
It makes me, what's that?
No.
As an adult.
Lighthouse treated the BB Lighthouse treat me as an adult.
Treat you as an adult.
Respect others, treat you as an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we got to close very soon. I'm still looking for that safe and loving space, the how. Okay, because the impetus to change has already happened. It's out of our hands. COVID is here already. Okay. So we don't need to worry about that, Bernie. It's going now. What we're doing is we are way early. We're deep preparing, so that people have a place to go and start
yeah, COVID
transforming
is here.
themselves. Yeah,
COVID is here. No choice. You have to change. But I'm questioning the determination to accept that you have to make a change.
Sometimes change just comes right smack into your face. You know, it's change or perish. You know, life is like that. You know, and if you've been unprepared, it's going to be traumatic. If you are prepared, then you are better able and better skilled to handle it. It's the same
I think you hit the nail on the head, because I'm questioning, okay, you provide all this safety nets, you provide all these platforms. You are aware that the pandemic is here. You have no choice. You have to change. But still, I question, if you don't have the willpower to make a change, so what? If you don't have the willpower to make a change, so what? So the answer is this program is preparing you, is equipping you to make a change. That's all. There's nothing more you can do, because the world is in this phenomenon.
The world has changed.
Not that word, because every era of history has its own parameters.
Correct.
So this parameter now is this.
Yes.
So people will recognize it, that they need to make a change. Educators, families, parents, teenagers, the whole mankind has already accepted that this is going to stay. For how long, we don't know. But the need to change is another thing. That is another milestone. So it's out of our control. We provide lighthouse, we provide space, we provide all that we need to prepare. We live an example of our lives. We have to be consistent with our inner core and our behavior. All this is already in the bag. So what is the contribution of Bilberries to the world? Is to prepare these people to make a change. For me, that's the
I like that. I like that.
Yes, then you are relevant. Then
we are relevant. We're relevant.
You have
relevant.
a role to play.
I
need to go now.
I need to go for exercise.
Okay. Go exercise. Thanks, Helen.
Bye.
We're closing already. Yeah, thank you, Helen.
Bye, Helen.
Bye.
Have a lovely session.
So relevant to pandemic.
Yeah, first is you step back. I mean, you can just record this. You step back, and then you have all these very nice platforms. You have all this nice schematic diagram. This is community of practice, bullying, all educators, adults, 0 to 100. All these are very nice. But the question that I ask, people will look at us and say, so what? I'm not ready to make a change. You can blah, blah, blah me. I live my life. It's my decision to live this way. It's none of your business. If I like to live, no. If I want to live my life, nobody can mess around, because today everything is democracy. There is no more moral compass. As somebody said, it's all relative. There is no more. There is no truth. There is no beauty. There's no goodness, for example, because I live my life the way I want to live it. If I want my life, and I am the rule of law inside of me, and I am the moral compass inside of me, so what? To hell with your program. I don't care. People can have this attitude. Yeah. And if they have that self-limiting belief, because they believe that you cannot influence me and you cannot do whatever you think is good for mankind, it's none of my business. You have your nice program, but that doesn't apply to me. For example,
we were getting mocked. You use the word. We were getting mocked 5 years ago.
No, no,
No, I'm seeing the societal response to our work.
Yes,
Because
yes,
we've
yes.
been consistent. We've been consistent. Look at our program.
No, what
We've
I'm
been consistent,
saying,
right?
whatever is the
Yeah.
past is the past.
No, I'm seeing us as not about the past. It's about the evolution. We have been consistent. That's why we
Yes, I know.
And then the response is like that. And then suddenly the pandemic is here.
No,
Later the climate emergencies are
what
going
I'm trying to nail is our relevance. Our relevance. So what I see now that I have been listening and thinking at the same time is, yes, we have this program. We have this lighthouse. You can touch it. You can illuminate it. You can da. But all this is for what? So I'm saying that we are going to be relevant because we will prepare a platform for people to make a change in their lives.
Platform, say again.
Preparing.
Platform for people to make
the change.
Prepare. Oh, platform to prepare people. Platform to prepare
people to make a change in their life.
Prepare people to make a change in their life. Change.
And that is going to be sustainable forever because people will have to see it and then they will say, okay, it's very nice. And then they probably will say, why, it's true. I have to make a reflection of my life.
If they, like you say, if they have this inner rule about themselves.
Yeah, that's nothing we can do, but at least we're preparing them to make a transformation.
Like you say, if it hits pang, then they have somewhere to go, right?
Yeah.
And begin again, right? That's it. While it's not hitting them, we are not going to. I mean, we are nobody's values keeper here, you know. We're too tired to nanny, you know. You look at Washima, she's so relaxed. I'm actually quite relaxed, although I look quite intense, you know. To me, it's like,
what I just said is, okay, what is this at the bottom? The bottom line is, why are we doing all this?
Yeah.
What is the purpose for this? I can see now.
And the intensity, right? That we're putting energy into
because
it.
There's so many outfits out there, you know, SG kindness, SG community of practice, do good to others. It's all. You name it, and there's a list. But
they're better resourced than us, you know.
Yeah?
They're much better resourced than us.
Yeah, but for us, it is the prepare. We make them prepared by having this opportunity. We are making them
get themselves prepared.
Get themselves prepared. Whether they will buy it, it's up to them. But at least it will start reflection.
Okay, I'll have to say a big hug and love to everyone till I see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. This is big. I love it.
Yes.
I think we're hitting it by Thursday,
Thank
Friday.
you, thank you very much.
Okay, bye now.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
It's like what Natasha is saying. She experienced it and she exposed it, and now make people prepare that if this happens, this will be.
This is one lighthouse already happening on this.
That means skill yourself, and then if the karate comes, just chop. Like that. Okay.
So tomorrow again.
Tomorrow again, yeah. We don't know who's going to turn up, but we will just keep going until we have the clarity, and then boom.
Yeah, I think no, this is.
Because I just need to write a very short paragraph for this and put the foundation.
Yeah, because what is really the purpose is to make us prepare.
Okay, bye-bye.
Change in our life.
Thank you, Bernie. You're always hitting it home for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
This is the nugget for today.
This is the nugget for today.
Help people prepare to make a change.
The light, the reflection. This is it. I'm writing the notes now. Thank you, Ryan, for being with us. Tasha for the expose.
It will be easier for Ryan now that at least there's some clarity.
Tasha, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay,
so
Ryan.
Very seriously, I do.
Thanks. See you guys later. I'll catch up with Tingyan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
I need to leave now also.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Benny. Thank you.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Tasha, you okay? Or you spend some time with me debriefing a little bit?
No, 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 no.
No need already?
I
Okay.
gotta go have my bath
Go,
anyway.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
Love you, Tasha. Take care.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.